What I want to talk to you is about something, again, most people don't think about and neglect on it, and it's something that eventually affects your quality of life. And it takes a certain sense of responsibility to do that. And that is the difference between saving and enjoying life. Let's admit it. We are going to get old. And getting old is not a pleasant sight. Not a pleasant sight. You have to be super lucky to be in good health, physically and mentally, and to die in your sleep. Very few people get to do that. Very few people get to do it. Most people, aging for them is catastrophic. And the deterioration of the body, the deterioration of the mind, you end up in situations that, let me tell you guys, it's heartbreaking, it's devastating. You see guys, people who are strong, hustlers, going, doing this, doing that, and all of a sudden end up in a wheelchair, diapers, catheter, not being aware, senile. It is a horrible sight. So that's why you need to save money. You need to save money that when you're going to reach the state, hopefully you won't, because it's going to be all nice and wonderful, you're going to live to 120, healthy and sharp in your mind, and then one day go to sleep and don't wake up. Hopefully, you know. But to most of us, that's not going to happen. And therefore, you need to put money to the side to be able to provide yourself with the appropriate health, with appropriate services that you could get to maintain your health, to give yourself some sort of dignity. Some sort of dignity. Those things are expensive, to put people in nursing homes or to provide with. Sometimes you can have a caretaker at home. You have to, you know, you become geriatric. You have to send them away to places. That costs a fortune. And you should not rely on the fact, oh, my children will take care of me. That's selfish. And there's no guarantee. You know, you could live in New York and your son will move to, or your daughter will move to California or to Texas. I mean, why would they move to California? Let's say they move to Texas or they move to Florida. All right, well, you want them to uproot their lives? I mean, that's selfish of you. It's not going to happen. So what are you going to do? How are you going to want to end up your life? You're going to, you know, as they, God forbid, you know, but you want to roll in your own vomit? You're going to be, you know, you need to have some dignity. And that's why I can tell you, it is never too early to start saving for your old age. And the earlier you start, and it does not make a difference if you're making $200,000 or you're making $2,000. Get into the habit of allocating funds to your old age. Okay? God forbid a person has Alzheimer's. It's nasty. It's vicious. Or a person has Parkinson's. Or a person has heart condition. You need to make sure you have that. Save money for your old age. However, now that's the difficult part. With saving money, you need to make sure also that you're living life right now. So you need to enjoy life. So, but you cannot go, and I know people like this, that when they were young, they lived the life of rich and famous. They went, they did Caribbeans, boats, they went everywhere. But in old age, they don't have anything. And yet I know people that save all their lives. They never went on vacation, they work. Yes, they die with dignity, but at the end, you know, when you're all settled, it doesn't help you. So what do you need to do? You need to save for that as well. You need to create a balance. And if you want to have good life, and good life does not mean, you know, drinking mojitos at 10 o'clock in the morning, driving a Ferrari, which is probably uncomfortable, you know, and so on and so on. That's nonsense. That's not what is good life. Good life means balanced life. Life is hard. Life is not a party. Even if you have the life of rich and famous, eventually you're going to be worried what you're going to be doing next. You know, there's always something. Life always throws a curveball at you. But to be able to take the edge of this anxiety of living, you need to create a balancing life. Yes, you're going to have the peaks, but you won't go like all the way up to the Everest and then down to the Dead Sea. You need like rolling hills, like everybody likes rolling hills, right? You go to the hill country in Texas, beautiful, rolling hills. That looks nice. So you need to have your rolling hills, not too high, not too low, not too high, not too low. Nice like this. How do you do that? Well, you need to save for your old age. So if you save for your old age, whatever you save for your old age, save maximum half of that, between a quarter to half of that, towards enjoying your life. So you need to sit down and be responsible with a budget. So let's say, for example, you're making, let's say $200,000, right? So your $200,000, let's say you have in your hand, argument's sake, let's say you have the $200,000 in your hand, you know, you want to know whatever you're doing, which is a lot of money, so 10% goes towards saving to your old age. If you can do more, you better do more. If you didn't start when you're 20, well, max up, whatever you can, 25% more than that. However, from your 10%, 5% from your $200,000 should go towards life. And that means even dressing up nice, buying your clothing, going on a vacation, going on a small trip, enjoying life. So from the 10%, right? So that's your 10%, and therefore maximum, no more than half of it. So it's another 5% should go to that. If you can't, if you don't have, and you have a lot of life expenses, you know, you have to pay your mortgage and bills and loans and something like this, allocate something towards your enjoyment of life. No questions asked, you have to save for the old age. No questions asked. And better if you go on a less vacation now, so you can have dignity when you go old. This guy, Dave Ramsey, I like what he says, it's a good line. Live like nobody else so you can live like nobody else. Everybody goes on vacation now, you're going to save. So when everybody else has to work until they die, I know someone who is 75 years old, cannot retire because he has to work. So I said to him, what's going to be? You know, they're going to roll you out from here on to the funeral? But he says, I can't retire, I have to work. And it's not a guy that was not making a lot of money. That guy makes a lot of money. He makes about $185,000 a year. But he has no money because he spent it all. Right? So, but if you cannot afford that, so allocate some funds, I call it the fund, right? For enjoyment in life. And that doesn't mean you don't have to, if you can afford to go on a vacation, you don't go on vacation. But if you want to have a nice bottle of wine or a nice bottle of bourbon to enjoy life, you could do so. So therefore you create the balance. So you need to enjoy the right now, and you need to worry about the future. That's kind of a mindfulness way of existing. You're aware of your immediate needs, but you don't forget what's going to come in the future. You don't know what's going to come. You hope for the best, and hopefully